In this podcast episode, nuclear physicist Max Zamilov returns to discuss his groundbreaking research on ancient Egyptian vases, challenging popular narratives about their origins and craftsmanship. The conversation spans from detailed scientific analysis of these artifacts to broader topics, including ancient stoneworking techniques, the challenges of publishing unconventional scientific findings, modern replication of ancient craftsmanship, and finally, reflections on nuclear physics, human evolution, and the mysteries of advanced technologies, both ancient and modern. Max Zamilov recounts his in-depth study of ancient Egyptian vases, focusing particularly on the precision attributed to some of these artifacts. Contrary to popular belief, his research shows no evidence of precise or machine-made vases from ancient times. Instead, all authenticated museum pieces exhibit qualities consistent with handmade objects, displaying irregularities in circularity and concentricity that would not be present if they were machined to modern standards. Zamilov employed sophisticated 3D scanning technologies and developed metrics to quantify these properties, revealing that genuine Egyptian vases and contemporary handcrafted vases from Egypt fall into overlapping clusters of quality measures, distinct from the notably more precise modern replicas often found in private collections or purchased online. He collected and analyzed over 60 to 80 vases from various sources, including the Petrie Museum, private collections, and even eBay, the latter group, which comprised inexpensive modern reproductions made typically from materials like marble, Pakistani onyx, actually calcite, and granite, aligned closely in precision with the so-called precise vases popular in collectors' circles, but not with authentic ancient examples. This discrepancy strongly suggests that many of these precise granite vases, especially those from private collections, are modern or relatively recent productions rather than genuine ancient artifacts. Dating stone artifacts like these vases remains a significant challenge due to the inability to use standard radiocarbon dating on stone materials. Zamilov discussed the potential use of thermoluminescence techniques on quartz-rich stones such as granite or travertine. This method relies on measuring environmental radiation damage accumulated by quartz over time and requires heating samples to induce luminescence, which can theoretically provide an age estimate. However, he explained that such methods are currently not well established for granite, and no labs readily offer this dating service for stone vases. Attempts to find facilities capable of conducting thermoluminescence tests on granite failed, largely because the technique is routine only with ceramics or pottery, which archaeologists often date this way. Zamilov emphasized the careful cataloging of stone types used in ancient Egyptian vases, referencing seminal work by researcher Barbara Aston, who analyzed over 1,000 vessels to document stone types and provenance. Aston's research reveals that only a single authentic granite vase, specifically Aswan granite, is documented, with the majority being crafted from materials like basalt, diorite, and travertine, often confused as Egyptian alabaster. Contrary to some collector claims, the vast majority of granite vases in modern collections are not made from Egyptian granite, but instead from geologically distinct stones, such as Indian granites or other igneous rocks. Zamilov pointed out that Aswan granite has unique textural characteristics, large pink and black felt spots, making it distinguishable from other granites. Many vases advertised as granite in private collections differ markedly from this and appear to be sourced from India or Pakistan, further raising questions about their authenticity as ancient Egyptian. Max shared insights into how pre-dynastic Egyptian artisans likely crafted stone vessels using primitive yet ingenious methods. He uncovered unfinished artifacts and grinding stones in museum collections, suggesting a multi-step production process. Rough shaping was done with chisels, possibly copper or stone tools, followed by rotation of the vessel in abrasive sand slurries to achieve roundness and smoothness, an effective and ancient form of rotary polishing and lathing. The characteristic surface finish confirms that the vessels were rotated during finishing, as indicated by concentricity patterns. For hollowing out the interiors, Zamilov suspects the use of grinding tools shaped like mace heads that were rotated, possibly by means of a bow drill. He highlighted a recent archaeological finding of a well-preserved bow drill dating back 5,300 years, which supports this mode of automated rotation. The cord and bow mechanism would have allowed artisans to bore and hollow hard stone vessels more efficiently than purely manual labor. He postulated that water channels and mills, evidenced historically in other ancient civilizations, could have powered some of this machinery, representing automated or semi-automated manufacturing long before modern machine tools. Challenging claims by some proponents like Ben and Matt Bell, who argue certain vases could not be made today with current technology, Zamilov commissioned modern replicas of precise granite vases in China. Using CAD models based on scans of original artifacts, artisans employed lathes and CNC milling with diamond-tipped tools to create vases strikingly similar in shape, finish, and quality to the supposedly ancient, precise granite vessels. These modern pieces featured log handles, narrow necks, hollow interiors, and even showed translucency under light due to quartz content. Zamilov revealed that machining such vases is cost-effective and technically feasible, debunking myths about ancient craftsmanship needing lost technology. He explained some imperfections in the replicas were due to communication difficulties with craftspeople rather than technological limits. Modern CNC machining could produce flawless pieces at scale, but would be more expensive, approximately $200 per vase for 100 units. He also demonstrated these vases' physical properties, including their ability to spin like the iconic spinner vases and exhibit light transmission, showing that none of this is beyond contemporary capabilities. Addressing claims that the most precise collectible vases originated from the Petrie Museum and were secretly disseminated to private collectors by the archaeologist Flinders Petrie, Max reviewed available archival evidence. He found comprehensive accounting of archaeological finds with no indication that such valuable artifacts were quietly given to private parties. The Petrie Museum and related institutions maintained detailed records of artifact distribution, and stone vessels were historically considered less valuable than mummies or monumental relics. The precise Vases Collector's Prize simply were not part of Petrie's documented collections, undermining narratives of secret provenance or lost antiquity. Max shared candidly about the difficulties of publishing unconventional scientific findings. He underscored the importance of rigorous context, literature review, and providing reproducible evidence. Substantiated claims must be documented with references and experimental rigor, contrasting with popular online narratives often lacking evidentiary support. He noted that some topics, such as cold fusion or UFOs, face editorial censorship, demonstrating how bias and gatekeeping can hinder scientific discourse. He recounted his experience with paper rejections and preprint repository refusals due to controversial keywords, emphasizing the need to persevere with high-quality data and honest reporting to gain credibility and publish groundbreaking work. Expanding beyond Egyptian artifacts, Zamilov discussed similar precision stonework traditions alive today, such as in India, and phenomena like the Barabar caves with mirrored granite finishes dating back over 2 millennia. He advocated for rigorous 3D scanning and microscopic analysis of these sites to quantify their construction methods, surface textures, and materials. Such scientific documentation would help clarify whether they could be produced by known historic methods or require alternative explanations. He also touched on how ancient water-powered sawmills existed in antiquity, notably 2,000 years ago in Turkey, supporting historical automated techniques far predating assumptions of primitive, purely manual labor. Turning to his professional expertise, Max explained why he no longer believes cold fusion is a genuine phenomenon, despite its initial excitement. Based on his experience with nuclear radiation detection, especially neutron measurement, critical for proving fusion, he found systematic errors and flawed statistics in past experiments. Fusion produces telltale neutrons. An absence of consistent detectable neutrons strongly argues that claimed cold fusion reactions do not occur. He also described the politics and funding battles in science, highlighting how mainstream fusion research aggressively protects its status and resources, thereby suppressing or marginalizing competing hypotheses. The conversation ventured into recent unexplained disappearances and deaths of nuclear scientists linked to sensitive research in the US, Canada, and abroad. Max speculated on possible intelligence agency involvement, but emphasized that such dark events should not deter open scientific sharing. As a personal policy, he has published all his research openly to mitigate risks of secret knowledge suppression. They addressed the current cultural and scientific situation around UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, endorsing open, peer-reviewed study of the phenomenon rather than dismissal or sensationalism. Max expressed skepticism over alien visitation theories, proposing more plausible explanations involving secret government projects or technology. He criticized the inconsistent release of data, reliance on low-quality videos, and government obfuscation, all of which hamper scientific investigation. The discussion turned philosophical and biological, weighing recent discoveries of ancient human skulls dating back over 1 million years and genetic research revealing multiple population bottlenecks in human history. These bottlenecks imply dramatic reductions in human populations, possibly caused by catastrophes, and challenge simplified linear narratives of human evolution. Max and Danny considered the possibility of engineered humanity and debated the persistent human quest for spiritual purpose, tying back to the concept of God as a driving psychological and philosophical factor. Max articulated his vision for future research involving comprehensive 3D scanning and microscopic analysis of megalithic sites, particularly in Peru and Egypt. He stressed the importance of sharing raw data publicly to enable broader scholarly review and breakthrough discoveries. He also highlighted the necessity of maintaining scientific honesty, rigor, and objectivity free from sensationalism, recognizing that prevailing orthodoxies may obscure groundbreaking truths. The conversation concluded with sobering reflections on nuclear weapons' historical context, the evolution of military technology toward precision conventional weapons, and the moral ramifications of atomic warfare. Max stressed that nuclear arms have become strategically obsolete due to environmental devastation and the efficacy of precision strikes, but acknowledged their terrifying legacy. They touched on infamous government experiments, exposing soldiers and civilians to nuclear blasts and radiation, illustrating the darker side of scientific progress entwined with human suffering. Max provided thoughtful commentary on scientific exploration, the necessity of curiosity coupled with integrity, and the recognition of our vast gaps in knowledge about humanity's origins, technology, and universe. Advocating for open-minded, persistent pursuit of evidence, he encouraged collaborative efforts to challenge assumptions and uncover the realities hidden within ancient artifacts and modern mysteries.